with the announcement that Renegade Game Studios is bringing back Heroscape starting in 2024 with revived Age of Annihilation content from Avalon Hill, which was confirmed in the Discord yesterday by Scott G., the president and publisher at Renegade Game Studios. He said the Age of Annihilation content, all figures that were revealed in that HasLab campaign, will be coming to Heroscape in some form to be announced. So, I'm going to do just a little thing that I have always enjoyed about the ending of certain video games or first-person shooter games and stuff from the 90s, is which during the credits, you would get a scrolling encyclopedia or whatever of every enemy that you encountered in the game. But I'm going to do it for the Heroscape units in as much of release/numerical order as I can get, barring some exclusives that came later, etc. The first figure that starts this video is going to be Mimring. He is the first in the Rise of the Valkyrie Master Set, and this video will go through each miniature that's been released for the first 13 waves of Heroscape. I was going to do probably like their character bios and all that, but that'd make this video a little too long. So I'm just going to show the miniatures as like a little gallery. So we have Mimring. Up next we have Finn, the Viking champion. Thorgrim, the Viking champion, with peeling sticker. Up next is the Tarn Viking warriors. Agent Carr. The Krav Maga agents. And the first one where my pronunciation is probably going to vary with what is accepted, but this is Nigaksa. And again, my pronunciation is probably going to be different than a lot of people, but whatever. This is the Maro warriors. What is wrong with your face, dude? This is Sivaris, the Deathwalker 9000. These are the Zetian guards, maybe pronounced Zeshin, I don't know, but I've always called them Zetian. And this is Ray Lin, the Kiri warrior. Here we have the Azumi Samurai. Sergeant Drake Alexander. And here we have the Airborne Elite. Grimnak. He was the final figure for the first edition of the Rise of the Valkyrie Master Set. Eventually, a second edition Master Set came out, and there was a Walmart exclusive version that came with this squad, the Elite Onyx Vipers. I'll mostly be using this video as an excuse to get this a little more organized. Wave 1 of the game, Maladin's Prophecy, introduced common units to the game, which were squads or heroes that you could have as many as you wanted in your army as long as you had the points allotted. But the first common squad was Arrow Gruts. Next up we have the Blade Gruts. Next up, the Roman Archers. The Roman Legionnaires. Then we have the Venok Vipers. The Omnicron Snipers. Which I never really got that name because that does not look like a sniper rifle that he is holding. But I'm guessing in the future, maybe that is a sniper rifle. Kelda, the Kiri warrior. Marcus Decimus Gallus. Taylord, the Kiri Warrior. The Venok Warlord. Tornak. Now we take a look at Wave 2, Utgar's Rage. Starting with the first pack that came with some Morrow drones. And we have the minions of Utgar. The Swag Rider. Next up, the Knights of Weston. The 4th Massachusetts line. Oftentimes, when trying to collect Heroscape, if not already having an established collection, this group will be difficult to collect all the proper molds for, because this one right here was used in a promotional figure called Samuel Brown that we'll look at later that was never actually released. So a lot of people will paint this one themselves. I was one of those people. So getting a full, proper 4 molds, 4th Massachusetts line can be a little bit of a task. The Anubian Wolves. The hero Sir Denric. How can you even tell that he has a face? We have Meeberk Saw. Another one here that probably has some pronunciation differences among people, but I call it Kosumet the Dark Lord. Then there's Krug. And my cat. And Krug. Now we're going to take a look at the first large figure expansion, which was Orm's Return. This is Subak Na. The Deathwalker 8000. This one here's got an umlaut in his name, so I'm just going to say it's Dund. D-U with a umlaut and D. This one here I've always pronounced Charos, but I'm pretty sure that that's wrong. It's probably Karos or something like that. But it doesn't really matter. Well, to me it doesn't matter. To some people, it matters quite a bit. Then there's Brunak. He was actually a tease for lava terrain, because there was no lava terrain when he came out. And then the figure from the first terrain expansion, The Road to the Forgotten Forest. I always call it a Dumatef Guard, could be Dumatef Guard, I don't know. But this is it. And then we come across the first promotional figure, not Eldgrim. Eldgrim. It's Nerak, the Glacial Swag Rider. Or is it Glacian? Glacian. Yeah, he's got a name. But he's from the promotional set. It was convention exclusive. Nerak's Return. Circling back to this one, because now it's bothering me. It also could be Karos, like Charon, the River Styx, ferryman. And I also forgot to say that Nerak was also a tease for upcoming terrain. He teased snow because he's based on snow, and there was no snow. I don't like your name. Alright, after Nerak the Glacian, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, Swag Rider, we've got the Obsidian Guard that came with the terrain pack Volcaran Wasteland, which was a Toys R Us exclusive. Kind of translucent with a dark dry brush of black over them. Now over to Wave 3, Jandar's Oath, starting with the Gorillanators. And I don't know why, but this silver bald-looking one has always been my favorite of the 3 molds. Then we've got the Marden Hounds. Then we've got the MacDurk Warriors. The Microcore Agents. The Sentinels of Jandar. Which, might I say, all have really dumb helmets. Especially this one. The Shaolin Monks. And we have the Konkan, the Kiri Warrior. Sayland, the Kiri Warrior. Alistair McDurk. And we have Johnny Shotgun Sullivan. And the Deathwalker 7000, which around the time Wave 3 released, I was like, oh, they're going to eventually show every Deathwalker from 9,000 down to 1,000. Nope, this was the last one. At least for now. Alrighty, now we are going to take a look at Wave 4, Xanafor's Discovery. Starting with the Aubrian Archers. Then we have the Gladiatrons. Deadeye Dan. James Murphy. Guilty McCreech. The Tagawa Samurai. The Armok Vipers. The Sacred Band, who I always thought they looked like they were wearing floppy garden hats. Moore's Bane. And another one that's probably pronounced differently between people, but Parmenio, I don't know. Valgard. Sudima. Major X-17. And Fidget. And then we move on to Ragnar's Vision, the next large figure expansion that came out for the game, starting with Braxis. Major Q9. I've always hated those giant pauldrons. He's got like a little kill count of various either generals, heroes, or whatever. Just some weird detail. But yeah, those are stupid. Thericus? Or Thoracus? I don't know. Then we've got Jotun. Nilfheim. Next up is the next terrain expansion that introduced ice and snow and glaciers, the Thalank Tundra, and it came with a squad of the Zute. Wave 5 begins Thor's Vengeance, first off with the Blastatrons. Then we have the Death Stalkers. Retiarius. Crixus. Spartacus. The Nikita Agents. The Warriors of Ashra. The Death Reavers. Ninjas of the Northern Wind. The Kozuki Samurai. Then we move to the first non-figures included terrain, which was the Fortress of the Archcarry. Came with ladders, walls, and a door, which could actually function. Could slide the sliding bar out. The door can actually open and come off. Sir Hawthorne's Arrival was the 2006 Gen Con exclusive. The Crest of the Valkyrie were a Toys R Us exclusive promo set of flag bearers for 5 of the generals of the game. Came with a felt bag, custom dice that had a symbol that activated powers on their army card. The first is Ornak, and he was Utgar's flag bearer. Is Utgar's flag bearer. Flag bearer for Utgar. And with his flag that has been poorly repaired with super glue, here is Sir Gilbert, Jandar's flag bearer. Another one which I will probably pronounce wrong, but it's Einar's flag bearer, Hatamoto Taro, or Hatamoto Taro. Einar's flag bearer. And then there's Laglor. Laglor is Vidar's flag bearer. Ular's flag bearer, Akalar. A pause here between the proper Heroscape intellectual property releases. They did an offshoot called Marvel The Conflict Begins, and it was branded as Heroscape, so all of these units worked with Heroscape. However, they weren't allied to any of the generals and weren't really part of the lore, if you follow the lore. But we'll go through this set real quick, starting with Captain America, and then quite possibly the coolest fictional character to ever exist, no bias there, Bruce Banner as the Incredible Hulk. Iron Man. Spider-Man. And then on some non-Heroscape terrain here, we have the Silver Surfer, who is on the Marvel Zombies Galactus. Abomination. Thanos. Venom. Red Skull. Doctor Doom. There was also the warehouse terrain piece that you could actually break the door out, the breakable wall section, which is down here, and with enough damage dealt to it, you could break it out and change the terrain. Wave 6 was Dawn of Darkness. Eldgrim, you were actually introduced here, so until your turn. Dawn of Darkness starts with the Shades of Bleakwood, which I could never remember their name when they came out, so I always called them basketball ghosts, because it looks like this dude's throwing a ball at half court. Then there's the Heavy Gruts. Your weapon's seen better days. We have the Einar Imperium. The Tagawa Samurai Archers. The Zombies of Morindon. And his final appearance for this video, Eldgrim, the Viking champion. He was originally supposedly supposed to be a 5th Tarn Viking warrior. That is why I initially had him in the Tarn group and flicked him and smashed him and grabbed him and stuff for the first parts of the video. I really don't know why I did that. Empress Kiova. Runa. Cayman Awa. And one of my least favorite looking miniatures in the whole game, Kimoshi. It was so weird looking. Wave 7 was the Fields of Valor. First up was the Ashigaru Yari. In the Ashigaru Harquebus. The Templar Cavalry. The Wretchets of Bogdan. Marku Essenwine. Iskra Essenwine. Cyprine Essenwine. And Sonia Essenwine. Quintella Gwyn. Character that I've always called Isamu, but it's probably Isamu. I don't know. Warden 816. The 2007 Gen Con promotional figure was Master Winshu Wu, and he was the first of Aquila's generals. Or Aguila, I don't know how you'd pronounce it. I always said Aquila. Or Aquila. Master Set 2 was Swarm of the Morrow, which introduced second versions of existing unique heroes, starting with Sergeant Drake Alexander. Raylin, the Kiri Warrior. And of course, brand new characters are introduced, like Sonlin. Major Q10. Shiori. Torkol Na. The Morrow Hive, which had little drones inside egg sacs or whatever those are that make them out of. The Morrow Drudge. The Morrow Stingers. And the Marden Nagrubs. Wave 8, the Defenders of Kinsland, starts with the 10th Regiment of Foot. The Wolves of Badru. The Grok Riders. Oganesh, which I don't know why I'm interjecting this right now, but I love the sound of Heroscape figures on the board. And I hope when Age of Annihilation comes out, that sound is relatively the same. But anyway, there's Olganesh. Arkmer. Emeroon. Jordan. Moriko. Sir Dupus. Just kidding. It's Sir Dupuis. Or Dupus the Doofus. Otanashi. Another one of those ones that I probably pronounce way differently, but Chardris, oops, that's wrong. Chardrish, Chardris, Chardis, Chalkboard. Chardris, Chardris, Chardris. Fireball Wizard. Kato Katsuro. The 2008 Gen Con figure was Agent Skahen from a little set called Skahen's Rescue. Wave 9, Black Moon Siege, starts with the Mohican River Tribe. The Capuan Gladiators. Or Capuan, I don't know. The Axe Grinders of Burning Forge. Omnicron Repulsors. The Protectors of Ular. Morrow Dividers. Kumiko. Brave Arrow. Atlaga the Kiri Warrior. Meagle Ironwill. Tulbak Ra. Zelrig. Not quite sure on pronunciation on this one, but I believe it's Gure Oni. Zetacron. Wosaga. Sujoa. The Firelag Spiders. If you were collecting Heroscape, Wave 10, the final release of original ideas for Heroscape before they switched to fully Dungeons & Dragons, was the Granite Guardians and the Quasach Hunters. Those were the only original figures to this wave, as there was some re-released figures and some packaged promo figures that were also reissued, so people could pick those up. Not all of them, but 3 of them. The 3 promotional figures were actually 2 single heroes and a squad. It was Nirak, the Glacian Swag Rider, Sir Hawthorne, and the Elite Onyx Vipers. And finally, heading into the final releases of Heroscape with Waves 11, 12, 13, and the 3rd Master Set. This is Battle for the Underdark, was Master Set number 3, and Waves 11, 12, and 13 are often referred to as Waves D1, D2, and D3. So we'll start with Battle for the Underdark. And this is the Deepworm Drow, Peloth, or Peloth, Feral Troll, Othkarik, the Black Dragon, Anna Carathon, Erevan Sun Shadow, Tandros Creel, and one that I'm probably going to mispronounce, but this one's a little on purpose, Derek Ambershard. It's D-A-R-R-A-K, Ambershard, so it's probably like Darak or something, but for some reason I think Derek is better. The first wave of Dungeons & Dragons stuff is Champions of the Forgotten Realms, and this is the Fen Hydra. This is a Sawajan Raider. Phantom Knights. Now this is one I've been told I've been pronouncing wrong forever, so I actually looked it up on Google, and that makes it correct the way I've been saying it in my mind. Anyway, this is a Wyvern, or Wyvern to some people, but when you click the text-to-speech, it goes, oh, Wyvern. So, yeah. This is the Air Elemental, which looks like he's, you're out of here, play ball. I don't know, he has a weird expression, and Hitchhiker's Thumb. The Water Elemental. Earth Elemental. Fire Elemental. The Greater Ice Elemental. The Green Scale Warriors. The Drow Chain Fighter. Tauren. Mogrim Forge Hammer. Brandis Sky Hunter. Brandis Sky Hunter. Sherwin Williams Paints. Just kidding. It's Sharwin Wildborn. Ask how. Ask now. Ask Sherwin Williams. Estivara. A drow. A dark elf lady. The second wave of Dungeons & Dragons stuff is the Warriors of Eberron. And here is the Iron Golem. It's a nice day for a white wormling. The white wormling. The red wormling. Blue wormling. Black wormling. The werewolf lord. Warforged soldiers. Mind Flayer Mastermind. The Ogre War Hulk. The Goblin Cutters. Shirak. Mika Connor. Heirloom. Rogar Dragonspine. Kurok the Elementalist. Wave 3 of Dungeons & Dragons was Molten Claw's invasion, and just as quickly as he invaded and introduced Valkryl's units, he disappeared, as did all of Heroscape, until Renegade picks it up again in 2024. But anyway, here's the Horned Skull Brutes. The Death Chasers of Thesk. Ogre Pulverizer. The Mezzademon Warmongers. The Death Knights of Valkryl. The Frost Giant of Morn. The Ice Troll Berserker. And another figure I find personally quite lame, Master of the Hunt. Ivar Scarcarver. Eltahale. Siege. And the final official Heroscape unit released until today is not this one. Technically. This is the final one that you could get. This is Molten Claw. But the final released figure that you can get will require a little customization with the 4th Massachusetts line, which I mentioned earlier. This was the final release in a set dubbed Forever Valiant. Hasbro, as a thank you and goodwill towards fans of Heroscape, released the army card for the unreleased figure, Samuel Brown. Many fans often took an extra 4th Massachusetts line figure and repainted him to create this figure. This is the Heroscape releases up until today, and we look forward to Renegade Game Studios re-releasing Heroscape to the public and getting Age of Annihilation content that we've seen out there, which they confirmed at Gen Con 2023 that all the work that Avalon Hill had revealed during the HasLab campaign will be coming out in some form. It may not be the Vanguard Edition big box, but there will be all of the figures revealed shall be officially released to mass market, and we will all be able to get new Heroscape starting 2024.